Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be describing and talking about this extremely strong level of resistance for Ethereum, a level that has held resistance for 10 months now. On this monthly chart, very clear here, the range from $1,710 all the way up to $1,800. Now, this is a level even going all the way back to the bull run in 2021 that has been very important for Ethereum, especially on the longer term time frame. And again, you can see on this monthly chart, we have basically had several of the last monthly candles just retesting this, holding it as resistance. In fact, if I zoom in here, you can see many of these monthly candles have had wicks up to this region, ultimately none actually closing above it since the close that we had back here in May of 2022. So obviously a very strong and defined level of resistance. Again, we have had the first retest rejecting off of it in July, another retest coming back above this level, but ultimately closing under it on this monthly chart in August, another retest September, a few getting pretty close in October and November, and then as well as January, and then the last few monthly candles have actually retested it once again. And all of this is to say that this level has basically capped the upside for the last 9 to 10 months or so. So if Ethereum on this ninth retest, or however many retests you want to call it, if it can actually start to break back above this on the monthly chart and have a close somewhere above this region, somewhere above $1,800, that will signal a major breakout here on this monthly chart, especially considering how this zone was actually previous support and resistance from back in the bull run back here in May, June, and July of 2021. That was the support that held on these 3 monthly candles retesting. So a break above this on the monthly chart would be a huge bullish signal, a bullish setup on this monthly chart, and it would lead me to target the next major level of resistance on the monthly chart for Ethereum, which would be the support back here in that same time frame on the monthly closes at $2,277. So that's sort of the gap that we're looking at. You can see there's not too much price action in between these two zones, not too much resistance, and I think that it could be very easy for Ethereum to make its way back up to that level, and then ultimately the range highs from back in that same time frame, back around $2,800. These are two major targets that I could see Ethereum tending towards if it can have a breakout above this level on the monthly chart. And I think this is a little bit easier here to see on the daily time frame. Again, you can see all the way back here in the bull run, this has been a major zone of support and resistance, starting out as resistance in February and March, right here in 2021. The breakout point took it up all the way up to this intermediate peak at $4,400, coming back down, retesting it in May, June, and July of 2021, bouncing off support, more or less a triple bottom before eventually going back up to new all-time highs. And then lastly, this was the support that held in the brief period of consolidation before that final move and final leg down to the lows at $870. And then after we broke down below it, it flipped into resistance on the retest in August, the retest in September, and then this move following just short back here in November. Ultimately, this has been a huge inflection point for Ethereum. Anywhere above this, we could tend towards the bullish side, and then anywhere below this, we could say we're maybe in an accumulation side, we're maybe a little bit more bearish. But again, as we're approaching this, we are sort of getting up to that fourth retest now, fourth underside retest, so there is definitely a higher probability this time around that we do start to see some sort of breakout. And for an example, a breakout would look like something like this, where if we can have the daily closes coming back up here, consolidating, holding it as support, and just in general starting to accept above this level, as opposed to what we saw back here in August with just a few candles closing above it before eventually breaking back below it. If we can get a sustainable move, again, I really do see those targets being pretty easy for Ethereum to reach towards that $2,278 level. You can see that was the support in January just before having this rollover. Also resistance back here in July of 2021, and then eventually that next target at that $2,800 zone. Pretty important levels on this daily chart. Those are the two levels I would watch out for if we can have a sustainable breakout. If not, then I would just assume that we're going to continue to consolidate. So overall, not a bad look for Ethereum, and I think it looks very bullish here, especially on this monthly chart with sort of this rising structure of support. You could almost say this is an ascending triangle. But any way you do interpret it, you can't deny that the support and the lows have been rising, and we keep tapping on this same level of resistance, this same key and major level ranging between $1,710 and $1,800. And if we can get that breakout, that would be a very bullish signal on this monthly chart, which typically leads to powerful moves. The higher the time frame, in my opinion, I think the stronger the signal is and the more bullish or bearish it is. I hope you guys enjoyed the content, and as always, I will see you in the next one.